Welcome back to Radix Math and Science, your source for all things mathematical and scientific. What we're going to be talking about today is how to multiply fractions. In a previous video, obviously you're going to have to understand what multiplication is. And so real quick, multiplication is something that means to fold many times. Just a real quick background if you didn't. Multiplication is just a word that means many-fold. It means many, and fold means times, so many times. Multiplication, many times. So that's the first thing. We got to get these definitions out of the way first. Because we're talking about, okay, we're going to multiply fractions. What is multiplying and what is a fraction? Well, a fraction is just anything less than 1, but greater than 0. If you can think about it, if you can imagine that. Again, the easy example, think about like a pizza or a piece of pie. You know what I'm saying? You divide it up in this, however many pieces. However many pieces that you cut it up into, that's the number on the bottom. So you see, we cut this up into 4 pieces, so 4 is on the bottom of this. We take the same amount of pie. We can take the same pie, cut it up, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we cut this one up into 8 pieces. So this is gonna be on the bottom. And again, a fraction is just a piece of a whole. So if we, let's say we eat a piece of this. Somebody asks you, look, how many pieces of pie did you eat? Well, I ate. You wouldn't say this in conversation, but I ate 1/8 of the pie. That's what you would say. Or if you ate one of these, I had 1/4 of the pizza. So a fraction is just part of a whole. And one thing, we're gonna talk about this in a second, but one thing about fractions is that the fractions are always less than 1. Fractions are always less than 1. Excuse me. But they can also be 1. If you got, let's say you got like 1/1 or 8/8, then that fraction is 1. But let's talk about just the standard situation. In the standard situation, a fraction is going to be less than 1 always. For example, again, 1/8. Now, if you think about if I ate all 8 of these pieces, right? Well, listen to that. Listen to that language. If I ate all 8 of them pieces, 8 of them, 8 this, 8 that. But if I ate, this is if I ate 3 pieces. This is if I ate 4 pieces. Now, real quick, if I ate 4 pieces of this pie, you would say, damn, JJ, you done ate half of the pie. And I did, because it's 8 pieces. And this is how I keep on. Now, after I done finished this whole thing, I've eaten one complete pie, one whole thing. But until I eat the whole thing, it's always a fraction. I'm just really bringing this up because, again, the intuitive understanding is crucial. But so now that we kind of got a little bit of background, what is a fraction? What does it mean to multiply? Let's talk about how to multiply fractions. Multiplying fractions is very easy, believe it or not. The computation is real easy. when you're multiplying fractions, let's say you have something like 1 over 2 times 1 over 3. Excuse me. And so you got 1/2 times 1/3. Let's think about what's going on here. Let's say you had something like 1/2 times 1. I mean, of course, you know, anything multiplied, anytime anything folded, or just one fold, is itself. So 1/2 one time is 1/2. Let's see, 1/2 times 2 equals 1. 1/2 2 times is 1. So we know kind of what multiplication is when it's not a fraction, but when it is a fraction, what happens to the number that you're multiplying? When you are multiplying a fraction by another fraction, or when you multiply any number by a fraction, the number is going to get smaller. And the reason is, again, let's say we have 5 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Now let's multiply it by a number smaller than 2. We'll do 5 times 1. 5 times 1 is 5. And of course, like we said, anything times 1 is itself. But what if you multiply something by less than 1? What does that mean? Like, what happens in that situation? Well, if you multiply it by 1 and it's always the same, if you multiply it by something less than 1, then whatever you multiplied it by is going to be smaller. So again, we can take 5. If we multiply 5 by 1/2, remember 1/2 is less than 1. If we multiply 5 by 1/2, we get 2.5. You see what I'm saying? So anytime you multiply a number by a fraction, it's going to get smaller. And the same things happen for when you multiplying fractions together. So we got 1/2 times, excuse me, 1/3. The computation when you're multiplying fractions is you just multiply the numbers on bottom and you multiply the numbers on top. So this is going to be 1 over 6. That's the answer. So 1/2 times 1/3 is 1 over 6. Let's do another example. Let's do 1 over 6 times 1 over 2. Excuse me. Again, the computation is the same. You just multiply the bottom and the top. So 6 times 2 is 12. 1 times 1 is 1. And if you notice, going with what we was just talking about, we started with 1/2 and we ended with 1/6, which is smaller than 1/2. If you got a piece of pie, right, would you rather have, let's say somebody got $100. Would you rather have half of that $100, or would you rather have 1/6 of that $100? Of course, you would want 1/2 because you get a little bit more. But what I'm saying is, you see, we started with a number and we ended with something smaller because we multiplied by a fraction right here. Same thing with this right here. We started with 1/6 and we multiplied that by 1/2. And we ended up with 1 over 12, which is smaller than 1 over 6. Again, if I had $100 and I said I could break this up into 6 pieces or I could break this up into 12 pieces, which one would you want me to do? If you're capitalistic, you're going to say 1 over 6 because you get more money with 1 over 6. But, so let's do one more example. Let's do something like 3 over 4 times, let's do, what's another good example? We can do 4 over 5. Now, let's not, we keep doing the 1 number. Let's do something like 4 over, let's do 4 over 6. So again, the computation is the same. You just, when you're multiplying fractions, you multiply the numbers on bottom. 4 times 6 is 24. And 3 times 4 is 12. So 3/4 times 4 over 6 is 12 over 24.